So here we are, Watkins Mill Elementary School, and this is where his graduation. Ready?
We're here tonight not to say goodbye to the class of '95, but to wish them well as they start down the path of the many new challenges that are ahead of them in the future years. We especially want to let each graduate know how proud we are of them and to recognize their accomplishments and contributions to Watkins Mill Elementary School during the past 7 years. To help us celebrate tonight, I'd like to introduce the participants. First, who needs no introduction, who has looked over us for the last 12 years, Mrs. Mabel Smith, our principal. And who else does not need an introduction is Mr. Rowe, our assistant principal. And the three best sixth grade teachers in Montgomery County, Mrs. Coots, Mrs. Duvall, and Mrs. Wolf. We will begin our promotion exercise with the graduates singing a Native American song called Go My Son, My Daughter, accompanied by Mrs. Delafield, our music teacher.
Teenagers. Through the years, we have learned to read, write, and talk properly. Watkins Mill is only the base of...
And say goodbye to all of them.
Yet of all these days of the years, my favorite has always been field day. I plan to live in Gaithersburg till I graduate from college. I will go to Montgomery Village Middle School and Watkins Mill High School. After I graduate from high school, I plan to go to college and get a master's degree in engineering. I plan to get a job at Turner Harper & Associates as executive manager. I will travel around the skydiving with my friend Latina and do everything I ever wanted to do. I'll get married, raise my kids, and have 4 dogs, 2 huskies, a mutt, and a Doberman. I will buy the biggest house that I can afford with all the luxuries and appliances of which I have ever dreamed. After my kids move out, I will retire and tour the world again and see the 7 wonders of the world. These are my memories, hopes, and dreams. I will never forget this place of my youth, my friends, and of my education. So now I say goodbye to my teachers, some of my friends, my principal, and the school, but I'll never say goodbye to my memories.
That's really a hard act to follow. We are going to present some special awards for academic excellence. And the academic excellence is students who have achieved straight A's as the average of the year, and all outstandings in their phys ed, music, and art, and instrumental music, if they are taking instrumental music. So I'm going to present my class, beginning with Nicholas Garcia. Kimberly McNamee. Anne-Marie McElhardy. Jennifer Newcomb. And Rachel Torrey.
Now I'd like to present my Academic Excellence Awards. Shafiq Ahmed. Craig Schneidel. Laura Wolf.
It is my pleasure to give out my Academic Excellence Awards. My first one is Elizabeth Coleman. Adrian Glick. Cole Gorsuch. Matthew McConnell.
Smith, Ms. Gordon, staff, parents and guests, and of course, promoting class of 1995. This year, Watkinsville Elementary School worked hard in establishing educational goals and expectations that would empower our students to meet the goals and standards of the year 2000. As we look and plan towards the future, we acknowledge that although not all of our students will learn at the same rate, that they could learn at a higher level, acquiring the essential skills and understanding that would allow them to face the future as capable, responsible adults. As we began the planning process, you parents now must begin the planning process. As your child now becomes a 7th grader, and thus a young adult, learn their subtle differences. Teach them not by holding their hand and chaining their soul. Teach them that your love doesn't mean dependency, and that your company doesn't always mean total security. Teach them that your kisses aren't contracts, and that your gifts aren't promises. Teach them to hold their head held high and to keep their eyes open, and that with open eyes they can build their own road on today, because tomorrow's grounds are too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in flight. Teach your child parents to plant their own garden and to decorate their own soul, instead of waiting for someone to bring them flowers. Teach them that they really can endure the pressures, and that they really are strong, and that they really do have worth. 7th graders, we hope that you will find serenity and tranquility in a world you may not always understand. May the pains that you have known, the conflicts that you have experienced, give you the strength to walk through life, facing each new situation with courage and optimism. Always know that there are those who love you, and that those who will always understand you. As you enter young adulthood, learn that a reassuring touch and a warm smile can be yours every day of your life. Remember, 7th graders, that the sun does shine when the storm seems unending. And most of all, teach love to those who know hate, and let that love embrace you as you go into the world, for this is the beginning of your new day. You've been given this day to use as you want to. You can waste it, or you can use it for good. But what you do today is important, because you are exchanging a day of your life for tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever. Leave in its place something that you have traded for it. You will want every trade to be a gain and not a loss. Good and not evil. Success and not failure. Try just for tomorrow, and remember that you only fail when you stop trying. On behalf of the staff at Watkinsville Elementary School, we congratulate you and we wish you well. Good luck and thank you. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mrs. Smith, Principal of Watkinsville Elementary School.
Awarding of the certificates.
Class, please stand up.
All admirable. Kimberly Carter. Sophia Yevtich. Kimberly McNamee. Anne Marie McElroy. Jennifer Newcomb. Sasha Neruzzi. Allison Pierce. Christopher Rose. Nicole Schreibstein. Danny Schechter. Rachel Torrey. And Victoria Winnick. Class will be seated.
Will my class please stand? Your feet are met.
Nicholas Brandover.
Kelly Brown. Issue Doodle. Terrell Golden. Oscar Good. Sunny Julia. Aporji. Shannon Huff. Natasha Jackson. William Kerwin. Kevin Levy. Ledbetter. Kengano Treviko. Miriam Nazanzada. Veronica Pacheco. Ali Hardazad. Jennifer Paxton. Tanisha Penn. Kristen Smith. Jennifer Sowers. Dennis Urbina. Benjamin Willens. And Laura Wolf. Congratulations, class. Will you please be seated?
Matthew Fidelli. Heather Gibbons. Adrian Click. Paul Gorsuch. Colleen Hanratty. Paula Hoffman. Jennifer Hollenberg. Casey Jones. Melissa Laird. Eugene Lederman. Robert Manson. Sammy Malakadova. Matthew McCann. Travis Neal. Heather Nickerson. Michael Penn. Tony Porter. Matthew Red. Mary Sa. Gary Server.
I want to say a few things about this year. When I think about this year, what comes to mind is Mrs. Vargo walking into my class and saying, you know, you're really having a golden year. That only happens every once in a while, and you really are in the middle of your golden year. My class has been wonderful. We did so many things together, and when I think about walking in September and having a class that I don't really know, and they're going through their growth and their changes, particularly in 6th grade, I know all the parents know what I'm talking about. It's kind of amazing at the end of the year how close the class becomes. And you know, when I think about it, I spend more time with your children than I do with my own children. And just the closeness that I feel toward the kids, I feel really very lucky to be a teacher. One of the highlights of my year this year was getting to know Mrs. Duvall's class and Mrs. Wolf's class at Outdoor Ed. I don't think any of us have ever laughed as much as we did at Outdoor Ed. And I think the kids saw a side of us that they didn't even believe existed. And I just want to thank the parents for your wonderful children that you gave me the opportunity to work with. And I want to thank you, my class, because this is a class that I probably will never forget. And on the one hand, I feel really sad that this is the end of the year, but I'm so proud of each and every one of you. I couldn't have asked for better students, and I want to thank you.
I want to say how happy I am and how proud I am to have worked with the boys and girls that I've had this year. They've been outstanding in many ways. They have worked very, very hard. They have learned many, many things. Maybe they didn't want to, but maybe they did. We have all grown and changed. And I think this will be a year they will never forget. I know I will never forget this class. Out of the many classes I have had, you will stand out in my mind. Thank you.
I was privileged to have a wonderful group of very unique individuals. Lots of different people and personalities, and really terrific kids. And we started the year with the philosophy that for this year we were a family. And just like any family, we may not always agree, we may not always get along, we may not even always like each other, but we were going to respect each other and to work as cooperatively as we could and not push the limits too far. And they have succeeded. They have been able to do that. And I have enjoyed the uniqueness of each of the kids. I have found that they have a sense of humor and they've appreciated my sense of humor. And at times, having a sense of humor was the only thing that saved all of us. So it has helped. But they're a wonderful group of kids, and I've also had the privilege of working with Mrs. Duval's children quite a bit, and Mrs. Coots' kids at class too, at camp too. It was a wonderful year, a wonderful experience, and we were very lucky to end it with camp. And as a tribute to Mrs. Coots, I still remember two of my students crossing the rope wire, holding on above, walking on a little line below them, and looking at me and saying, "We can do this." We had confidence for Mrs. Coots already. And they did. And they love Mrs. Duval's ecology, of course. They'll tell you more about that. And I got to have them in the spring with me, and in spite of a Thursday afternoon accident or two with water, we had a wonderful, wonderful time. So I want to thank all of the students, most especially I want to thank my kids. It's been a wonderful year, and you're a group I'll never forget. Thank you.
And now we have a very special presentation to be given by a former student of Watkinsville Elementary School.
Looking forward on a letter. I originally wrote it, I think really like this speech. Okay. Dear Mr. Wall, as a past student of Watkinsville Elementary School, I consider it a distinct honor to present this book to the Navy Center in honor of you and your years of service in the 6th grade class. Speaking for all your students, we would like to thank you for the ways you have and continue to impact our lives. Not only do you skillfully prepare your students for the future, but you push us to strive for the best. You have taught us to be considerate of others, help when we are needed, and to realize our potential. Mr. Bob, you are a loving and caring individual who has dedicated your life to teaching. So from all your past students, one thing I can say is thank you.
Thank you very, very much. It is a of the world. We desperately in the library. 6th graders that we needed in the library. I'm watching that. Thank you very, very much.
Now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Smith, principal of Watkinsville Elementary School.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. And Miss Gordon didn't introduce herself, but Miss Gordon is a principal trainee. I'd like to tell you a little story before I get to the children. Starting in, well, this summer, sometime this summer, Miss Gordon is now ready to become a principal and will probably be a principal in the fall. And Mr. Rowe is in the training program, will probably be a principal in '97. And when I was sitting there and Miss Gordon was talking, and she said, Miss Smith has been here 12 years. Mr. Rowe leaned over and he said, you know, I was a very young man when I came here, and I think you've been here 14 years. And I said, well, then, you know, I sat there and I said, well, this is kind of unique. Because when these two people become principals in Montgomery County, they will be the 14th principal I have helped to become principals in Montgomery County. And I think they deserve a big hand. 14 years. And to wonderful teachers. And I want to say, Mrs. Duvall, I will never get to 31 years. Mrs. Duvall has given 31 years of service to Montgomery County Public Schools. And I want to tell you, parents, there is something very rewarding about the old. There is a wisdom that only those who have experience can bring to the children. And when our children go to the middle school, our children know math. And I have to say, Mrs. Duvall, even though boys and girls, you know, we had our little talk about Mrs. Duvall, lowered her voice, remember that? Well, Mrs. Duvall lowered her voice and you still learned math. And when you left, particularly those who have been back, they said, Mrs. Smith, I used to want to hit Mrs. Duvall. But I know my math. And so tonight, Mrs. Duvall, I say thank you for all the children in Watkins. And now to you parents, a very, very special thank you for these beautiful children. They are your children, but if you look at them, they are also the children of the world. We are a rainbow sitting here. Give them a big hand. And then as I watch the children, so many of them that I've seen grow. I've watched you all the way through. I've known your happy periods, your sad periods, your growth periods. And I've listened and I hope that you always have known my love, even when I was the toughest on you. Because sometimes that's what I have to be for you to grow. And I always say to you, boys and girls, you're the best going to the middle school. You're the best. And the middle school tells me that every year because I go and I check on each of you. And I want to know that that middle school is doing for you what we have done at Watkinsville. And I will continue to do that. So always know that I am there for you. I also want to say, Travis, as I get into my older years, I was sitting there thinking, you know, I think I'll go into management because Travis has got to be president and I want to be there. I want to be there, Travis, helping to run your campaign so that I can be right down on the front row and say, I knew him when he was just a little boy. And look at him now. And he'll be saying, do you remember way back there when I was just in the elementary school? And I want you to look on the front row because that's my happen because it can. It can. And then I watched some of the other children, and I had probably some of the greatest talented children in this group that I've ever seen. Rachel, I know I'll be to New York to see you. And some of the other girls who I know are going to be models. You're just too beautiful not to be models. And I just figure with all of the children going through here, I'm going to have a lot of front seats, so you better remember that. Boys and girls, as you go on to middle school, just remember our little simple rule. It'll take you a long way. And what is the one simple rule? What is it? Keep your hands to yourself. There's nothing magical about that, kids. Because if you keep your hands to yourself, you're a little safer about what comes out of your mouth. You really are. And remember, Mrs. Smith tells you all the time that words cannot hurt you. Walk away. Strong people walk away. And now on behalf of all of the teachers, and some of them are here, we want to say we love you. We will miss you. And you have been a very, very special class. And so bright. When I look over this group and I watch you come up, there are children here, parents who are doing 10th and 11th grade work and doing it well. And I want you to know, don't let go. And if you come to a teacher that you feel is not teaching you, talk to your parents and have your parents do something about it. Nothing and no one should get in the way of your education. And that is up to your parents. If you have anyone that is obstructing your education, whether it's young or old, tell your parents. Magical phrase, tell your parents. Say it, kids. Tell your parents. Because that's the only way that someone can control you. They can control you with fear. And there is no such thing with your parents. They'll go to the wire. I don't know of a parent that won't do that. Whether the parent is rich or poor, doesn't speak English well, or anything else, kids, they will go to the wire for you. Will you remember that? You can always come back and talk with Mrs. Smith. I want you to. I tell every group this, and sometimes I get so many coming back, and I say, how many's out there in the outer office? That's okay. I will get to you and I will listen. The other day I was in Giant, right up here. And this nice young man, nice tall young man, was also pushing his cart along the aisle, and he was gray. And he was such a handsome young man. And I said, my, isn't he a handsome young man? He reminds me of someone. And he walked up to me and he said, Mrs. Smith, do you know who I am? And I said, I'm not sure. He said, I was with you in first grade. I said, I'm getting old. And he was a doctor. He was an MD. And he's here in the village now serving us. And he's now my MD. And surprisingly, whenever I don't